Hi, it's a Lipstick Gal. Thanks so much for watching. I wanted to talk about some new makeup releases today. In all honesty, I shouldn't even be looking because the day that I'm recording this was the first day of the Sephora sale for VIP Rouge. Oh my goodness. And I was sure I wasn't going to spend that much, and like a crazy person, I did. All right, neither here nor there, but there are some things that I feel like we're either at the point where, like, what are you doing? Who asked for this? And yeah, please give me more. All right, so let's talk about it. I'm just gonna move to the side to make it easier for later to just plop a picture up for you right here. But I am using Instagram. Most of this is coming from Trend Mood 1. I'll link that in the description bar down below. Some of these are from like a month or more ago. Makeup is so different than when I was young. When I was a teenager and first getting into makeup, there was maybe 2 collections a year, spring, summer, and a fall, winter. And that was it. And it was one of those where you would go to the drugstore and you'd have like your core products, and then twice a year they would release new colors. Same thing at the department store. If you were shopping for Elizabeth Arden or Lancome or Estee Lauder or Clinique. I was a Clinique kid all the way. And I remember those spring, summer collections and those fall, winter collections, and thinking twice a year I can save my pennies up and then go and get like 1 or 2 really nice, cool things. And the thing that's so different now is that there's something dropping all the time. And I have to remind myself, even though I have this YouTube channel, there is no way in the world, even if everybody in my house was using it like daily, there's no way I'd get through all of this makeup. But man, it's so interesting. All right, I'm gonna start with some of the oldest stuff and we'll go from there. Just to be clear, I'm not talking about everything on the Trend Mood account. I'm only talking about the stuff that either, yes, more, or excuse me? All right, so this is one of those that I have been looking at and seeing and have not purchased because it's the exact sort of lip product that I love. And I'm like, you already have a ton of stuff like this, but it definitely caught my attention, and it's new from Nabla. This is their Beyond Jelly Sheer Supple Lipsticks. These are sheer, glossy, kind of like gloss in lipstick form. Love that. I like the packaging. I like everything about it, where it's fun, beautiful colors, but they're not too heavy. They're sheer, they're lightweight, they're super glossy. They look so juicy. It's like 1,000 yeses for me, but I've got a ton of formulas like this. I don't need any more, but it definitely has me going, I would love one of those. Something that I already bought and should have been here yesterday and it still isn't here today, and where is it? Is the new Divine Bronze from Pat McGrath. I got the lightest shade. I kind of feel like, I don't know why, because I purchased this on launch day. Have I not learned my lesson to not purchase from Pat McGrath? Because it's been like 2 weeks and it's still not here. What happened? I feel like in the last 3 years, shipping went from being kind of long to like an indeterminate amount of time. In 3 months, it might show up. And I know that's a bit of an exaggeration, but for the price that I'm paying, I know you're giving me free shipping, but I am really excited about it though, because I'm hoping this bronze formula is going to be exactly like the Divine Blush. And the Divine Blush formula is one of my favorites and most reached for formulas. I feel like it's really elegant. It's super easy. It kind of blends itself. And that's what I'm looking for in a bronzer. And I feel like the shade range here, 8 of these shades, are so perfect. I had to keep myself from ordering the blush that comes in this collection and the eye quad, but I was like, no. Only get what you know you're gonna use, and for me, it's the lightest shade of bronzer. Oh boy, here's another thing that I picked up, and I placed the order for it this morning. It was like midnight, my alarm went off. I'm like, place your Sephora order. It's the new Traceless Soft Matte Concealer from Tom Ford. Now, I have never tried any base products from Tom Ford. I know there is a Traceless Soft Matte Foundation. I haven't tried that one, but I was talking about it in a video. I'll link that video for you in the description box down below about what I was thinking about getting, what was in my loves list. I was curious about this, and someone said, don't buy it unless you're willing to never go back to anything else again. It will change your life. It's $60, but don't buy it unless you're willing to continue to pay that price for the best concealer you'll ever use. And I was like, oh, Yes, let's see. Now I know that makeup is different for everybody. Foundation, concealer, base products, all of our needs are different based on our skin type, based on do we get a good skin tone match, and everybody has a different undertone. On top of that, age is a factor. And since I'm pushing 50, I want something that is not drying, doesn't settle into the creases. But the minute this was talking about being traceless, blurring imperfections, hyaluronic acid, 12-hour hydration, comfortable, non-drying wear, I was like, yeah. The only hard part is that if I really do like it and I burn through it and I need another one, instead of paying $48 because it's 20% off during the Sephora VIB sale, it's gonna be $60. I've never paid that much for a concealer. I think maybe like 32, 34 is the most. And even then I'm still like, but is it good? So here's hoping that Tom Ford comes through. This is one I kind of looked at and I was like, oh, I know that's not for me. Now, it basically comes down to the type of lip products I like to wear. This is a new one from Makeup by Mario. This is the Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Color. And the interesting part is just the description. I was like, yep, reading the description and seeing the pictures, I was like, not for me. And I was kind of like, but who is it for? It says it's full coverage, water-infused liquid lip color that hydrates and visibly plumps with a weightless glossy feel in 13 shades. This basically said to me, you know, the full coverage and visibly plumping, glossy, I'm like, it's gonna get all over my teeth. And the shades, there's so many nudes, and I know Mario is known for making beautiful nudes, but I would want the red, or I would want the deep berry shade. And then I was like looking at the photos, and they just looked, they look like they would settle into lines. Like they have enough of that white base, especially the nudes, they had a really milky look to them. And I was like, I am not 15 years old like my daughter. I am not like even 25. I think that at my age, at almost 50, this would be a struggle of it settling into those lines and then continuing to feather out, and then it's glossy and it's full coverage and it's pigmented. I'm like, this is not made for me. These pictures look beautiful, but I don't know what the reality of this is. All I could see is bright red, shiny on my teeth, and then it kind of going everywhere. So this is definitely a no for me. If you've tried this, tell me what it's like and tell me if you would recommend it. Why am I pulled in by Byredo? Like, I've never purchased a thing from them, but every time I see something, I'm like, but it's gorgeous. All right, they have a new eyeshadow palette and it's a massive palette. This is 18 shadows. Now, you know I like a more minimal palette, and this is like gonna be like in the $100+ range. And the first time they released something like this, I was like, no, it's not for me. First of all, the price was intimidating to me. Beyond that, it had some like teals or greens in there. I remember it was beautiful. There were so many shades that looked really nice, but there were also a ton of shades that looked very similar. I think the same thing is going on here. I feel like there's a little bit more distinction, but if you're looking at some of those lighter pink shades or mid-tone pink shades, don't they look very similar? And then we have what is like 4 kind of cool and warm toned like icy shades. There's like the silvers in the top corners. There's that bottom left shade, kind of like the gold in the middle. Like, I feel like there's a lot that's similar in here. I feel like this would probably be better if they were to edit it down. But the minute I saw it, I was like, oh, so pretty. And I don't see myself purchasing this, but for pity's sake, it made me stop and drool. That's for sure. Here is something I was like this close. I literally had it in my cart and I abandoned my cart. Well, my online shopping cart. This is the new Double Take Skin Perfecting Blush Duo from Oma Beauty. Don't these look beautiful? First of all, I love having a duo, and I like how we have a split pan. So with a small brush, you know, something small, I could get one side and not mix the colors, or I could swirl my brush through both. I feel like there are some like duo colors for blushes. I know Charlotte Tilbury does one. I know that Pat McGrath does one. And both of those I feel like would work well enough. I feel like the Charlotte one would work a little bit better for me. I've never had problems with like getting just the shade I wanted, but I feel like the one from Pat might be a little bit more difficult. Maybe I'm wrong. These look like super easy to use and the colors are so pretty. They're $33 a piece. They're supposed to blur and refine. They have buildable pigment. It has like hydrating ingredients like murumuru butter and emollient esters. it just looks like everything I would want in a blush, but I have been buying so much blush recently, I had to tell myself no, which is why I walked away from my online Ulta cart. But don't be surprised if one of these ends up at my house sooner than later. Something I already purchased. This was something that I added to my cart for the Sephora sale this morning. This is the new Shade Slick Gelée Sheer Tinted Lip Oil from Merit. I love Merit's original lip oil, but this new formula is different. It's a little plusher, it's a little sheerer, it's a little shinier, a little glossier. This tends to be a little bit more lightweight, but it comes in the same packaging. Love Merit's packaging, and I really like Merit as a brand. I think that they have a really beautiful, elegant, minimal approach, and this lip oil is exactly what I'm hoping like my lips will look like all summer long. So my original choice was to get the red one, the one in maraschino, and I was like, no, don't get that. Get the one, the deeper, darker one, and it's the shade Mapleton. It's a sheer brown. Now, the one thing I didn't know when I was putting together my Sephora cart and that video that I linked for you in the description box was that these are pH changing. And I didn't know that until this morning after I already placed my order. When I woke up and I was looking at it, I was like, oh, and then I started reading a little bit more and I was like, oh no, oh, because every time I have tried a pH color changing formula, I've ended up with the most hot pink lips. It's not like a sheer color. It's not like, I can't tell you. Do you remember when Lipstick Queen was doing like frog prints? And then they had a whole line, a yellow one that turned kind of like a mango color. They have a blue one that like, they had a purple one that turned like a berry shade. Like they had all of these different ones. Even when I was a kid in the 80s and I used to get those blue lipsticks, it was always hot pink. And so the minute I heard this was pH adjusting, I was like, here's hoping it turns out. But for me, if it was just that kind of warm brown shade, yes, 1,000 yeses. If it does the weird hot pink thing, it might have to go back. But I think that more than anything, the sheerness, the glossiness of it, the fact that I really like this formula. I hope the other formula does the same thing where it doesn't kind of like go everywhere. This one wears really well and feels good on my lips. And that's what I'm hoping this new one will do, but it's already on the way. So I mentioned that I already got the Pat McGrath bronzer, but then I saw this and I was like, wait, what? And I don't need it because this is even more expensive than Pat's bronzer. This is the new Dior Forever Natural Bronze Healthy Glow Bronzing Powder. It's $55. And there are 6 shades. But for me, if you're looking at those 6 shades, it's the one in the middle on the top. It looks like it's a slightly cooler. It's not quite as warm and bronzy as the others. And there's definitely some cool leaning shades in here and they look immaculate. I am slowly trying more luxury makeup. For a long time, I was really comfortable in like that high-end range. And the minute you wanted me to pay $50 what, like I just bought the Gucci bronzer and then I saw this and I was like, but man, what? I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna pick it up. Right now I'm telling myself no because I have a lot of bronzers that I love and I just bought the Gucci bronzer in the lightest shade, but this was definitely made me stop. I don't know. This is one where I'm on the fence and I'm willing to be swayed one way or the other, but it definitely has piqued my interest and it's the new Halo Glow Beauty Wands from e.l.f. And for me, it would kind of be like trying it for science because I already love the contour wand, the highlighting wand, and the blush wand from Charlotte Tilbury. And I feel like Charlotte was the first one years ago to put out liquid products in those squeezy tubes with the cushion applicator. Am I wrong? I feel like she was the first one that I remember seeing doing that. And I instantly bought the contour wand. Loved it, have repurchased it because it really is that good. I've tried other ones. I've tried one from Flower. I've tried one from Beauty Pie. And the truth is there's a ton of people doing this. Tarte is doing this now. e.l.f. is doing this now. And for me, I don't know that anybody else kind of gets right to the same ease of blendability, sheerness, but pigment. I don't know. I feel like there's something really special about the Charlotte formula. And I don't know, even though these are $9 a piece as opposed to 30 what for Charlotte's? Was it $42 for the blush wand that I just bought? Because I bought the one in Pillow Talk and I think it was $42. I don't know. If it's like a quarter of the price, it might be worth it, but I don't want it to be only a quarter as good. Do you see what I'm saying? Even if it's just kind of good, is it good enough? I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are, because I love that e.l.f. said we're not just releasing just a contour or just a highlight, because I feel other brands have released one at a time. They're like, here's all three, bronzer, highlight, and blush, and go. And I don't know. I feel like if these are really good, these could really give Charlotte a run for their money, because I love Charlotte as a brand, but talk about you're paying a lot for getting a small amount. Do you know how long it's been since I've been interested in anything from Colourpop? Forever. I just haven't been impressed. I feel like I've kind of outgrown Colourpop. That a lot of their releases, especially their fast fashion approach where they're constantly putting something new out all the time, exhausts me mentally. Beyond that, I feel like the quality is hit and miss. And the older I get, the less I'm able to make it work. I need something that's really going to work well with my skin, where it's at almost 50, and sometimes something that my 15-year-old would be able to pull off, I'm not going to be able to. But I heard that they reformulated their cream gel liners. I used to love the cream gel liners. My only beef was that in less than 6 months, they would dry out. I like that they stayed where I put them. I like that they didn't go anywhere. They were really budge proof and really nice, but after a while, I'd start to draw a line on and the whole pencil would like fall out or it would snap off, or it was so dry, it was like I was scratching my lid, and that's not what I want. So these new reformulations are 18 hours, they're waterproof, they have a bunch of colors, they're supposed to glide smoothly, won't fade or budge, and they're supposed to be a creamy formula, long lasting, $7 each. And I was like, all of that for $7, all of that? Now I love that they have such a wide range of shades. I would love like a burgundy or kind of like a plum shade. I would love like the dark brown shade. I'd probably also like a bronzy or a gold shade, because I feel like a metallic shade can be really fun in kind of like a neutral metallic color. That's so much fun. I'm not the sort to go for the lavender or the blue or even the red. Those aren't for me. But I like that they're creating all of these colors depending on what your makeup aesthetic is. Maybe you want the red. Maybe you want like the mint green. I think those are so fun, but that's not where I am in my makeup journey. But I feel like some of those darker, more neutral, AKA boring shades might actually be great. So I might be willing to pick one of these up. I'm not running out to do it. But if this new formulation ever comes to Ulta, might. All right, so as I was scrolling through Trend Mood, there's a lot of things that I feel like, oh, that's definitely not for me. Oh, that's definitely for a younger audience. And then I saw something and I was like, oh, what is this? And then I realized that 10 years ago, I would have been like, old lady makeup. I am now that old lady who loves this. Okay, so this is new. It's a collab. It's from Estee Lauder. And I'm hoping I'm saying the name right, but it's Feng Che Wang. It's a Chinese fashion designer. It's limited edition. Okay, so what really drew me in, of course, were the lipsticks. Now, I think that Estee Lauder has a really beautiful formula, and this packaging is stunning, but look at the ridges on those bullets and those shades. They're so summery. They are just screaming bright, punchy, vibrant lip. Yes. Even the eyeshadow palette, but the truth is I'm probably not here for the eyeshadow palette. I don't know that I would get any of this. Truthfully, I'm probably not gonna get any of this, but I just thought it was so funny that like a decade ago in my late 30s, I would have been like, that's for my mom. And now I'm like, oh my goodness, it's so pretty. I just had a moment of realization that Estee Lauder is definitely targeting me and my demographic. A little bit of an expendable income, loves makeup, wants beautiful things, and yeah. Anyway, but they look beautiful. Probably not gonna buy. Here's where I wish I lived close to a Target. My closest Target is 70 minutes away. I want to go to Target. I love Target, and I'm not willing to buy things online because if it doesn't work, I have to drive 70 minutes to make a return. So I only shop at Target when I go to the next biggest like large city and hit Costco and go to the shopping mall, and you know, that's where my Macy's is and that's where my Target is. But there is this new brand called Thread, and Thread is a Black owned woman-led beauty brand, and they're offering accessible, affordable, multi-use and multi-benefit products. Now I love this because every single product from the thread line is $8. And are you seeing these swatches? Like these swatches are fantastic. So I think there is a 26 shades of medium buildable coverage foundation stick. They have 12 shades of a makeup fluid. I think that maybe that we're thinking that it's a concealer. That looks really interesting. I'm really, really intrigued. Like $8? When was the last time you got a fabulous drugstore product for $8? I feel like Elf does it. I feel like Wet n Wild does it, but sometimes it's like, I don't know, because like Elf is even coming out now with $9, face products, $9 lipsticks. The prices are going up. $8, and to have the whole line available for $8, that sounds fantastic. So the next time I take the time to drive 70 minutes away to that larger shopping area, I will check my local Target and see if they have this, because this actually looks really interesting. If you have seen it, if you have tried it, let me know your thoughts. All right, mentioned it earlier, Tarte is doing one of those squeezy tube blushes like the Charlotte Tilbury ones. And these are what, like 30 some odd dollars? I forget what the price is. And it's not that much less expensive than Charlotte Tilbury. And I don't know whether the Tarte formula is as easy and blendable. That's what I'm paying for. When I'm paying Charlotte Tilbury prices for the highlight, for the like contour, for the blush, I'm paying to dot, 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 and like with no effort blend it out and it looks perfect. That's what I'm wanting. I don't know that for mid-30s that Tarte is serving that. I don't know. Have you tried these? They definitely look like they're trying really hard to be Charlotte Tilbury, but I feel like you have to really price it like at half the price or less than what Charlotte charges to really get people, unless you are a Tarte diehard fan. I'm not. It's been a long time since I've been excited by anything that Tarte does. This was one of those that I was like, okay, I see what you're doing, but why did you think this would work? I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. This is definitely not for me. There is a new Quint from Byredo. Oh my goodness. This is called Metal Boots in the Snow. And this just instantly like, called me. And it's all of those really beautiful kind of dark, grungy metallics. We've got like a teal shade. We have an olive shade. We have kind of like a khaki, a silver. Like they're just stunning. And that packaging, that gold pebble-like weird odd shaped packaging. Yes, everything about this is just like screaming all the things that I want. But then I thought about it. This really reminds me, with the exception of it's missing the blue, it really reminds me of Lisa Eldridge's Sorcery palette. It's just so gorgeous. Now, Lisa's palettes are $68 a piece, and this is $75. I was like, no, 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 no. It's beautiful. The packaging is stunning. You have something already like this. Just use what you have. But I'll tell you, it made me kind of go, oh my goodness, it's so pretty. All right, last thing in here is something I'm most likely gonna pick up because you know I love me a lippy. There is a new Creme Supreme lipstick from Make Beauty. I love Make Beauty's Serum Balm Intense. Somewhere else I have one of the regular serum balms. I really love this formula. There's so much from Make that I like. I really love their Skin Mimetic powders. I really like some of their brow products. I feel like they have some really beautiful stuff. I love their lash prototype. There's a beautiful, beautiful makeup from Make. But this right here is exactly what I'm hoping for. So this is a high impact color with a glossy finish. It's available in 20 shades and is available on the 18th. Okay, probably gonna buy one. Probably not gonna get the blue or the black or the purple. Probably gonna go more for one of the reds or the deep berry shade. It depends on what that brown looks like swatched. They just look beautiful. I'm hoping that these are going to be the same as regular, like refillable. Most of the Make products are refillable. I know their powder is, their bronzer, their powder blush is refillable. I feel like they have so many really beautiful, like their eyebrow stuff is refillable. They have so many really lovely things. Make really has my attention and is kind of like that low fuss, but really delivers sort of makeup. So probably gonna pick that up. That's definitely on my list of things to keep an eye out for. that is all I have to talk about. I feel like there's a lot of other stuff out there. There's a ton of stuff I didn't talk about because it didn't catch my attention, or I was kind of like, yeah, right, no. And it wasn't so much, it was just like, not interested, not interested, not interested. And I only really want to talk about the stuff that makes me go, ah, you know, like I'm drooling, or the stuff that makes me go like, who thought this was a good idea? Like really, tell me, who thought this was a good idea? I feel like there was less of that today, and it was more just, here's what looks interesting, but this is why it's not for me. Let me know if any of these products are calling to you, or one that I didn't mention. Let me know in the description bar down below. Have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.